I'm Roy DiTosti. I did all the photographs here in the exhibit. This is Six Bridges Gallery in Maynard. It's a co-op gallery. That means it's owned and run by a bunch of artists, of which I'm one of them. And anyway, these are photographs of a selection from pictures taken of local agricultural fairs that take place every summertime in central Massachusetts. We've got the Bolton Fair, the Acton Fair, Sterling, and there's a couple of other towns, I can't remember them. Belchertown is another one. And been going to these things for about 15 years or so, since I moved into the area. And they're pretty interesting. I've sort of honed in on different categories here. This wall is kind of dedicated to food and food trucks, popcorn, stuff like that. That's pretty much what all of this is. And then on this wall, this is like the game wall, where you have people that basically they throw baseballs at bottles and stuff, and then if you break a bottle, you win a teddy bear. And we've got some of the games over here and 3 over there, and the rest of it. And this is dedicated a little bit to the rides. They have a lot of elaborate rides at these things, and so I got a little section to show some of that. And originally I started going to carnivals back in the 70s. There was a carnival in Brockton that I found, and the Topsfield Fair was one of the first fairs that I went to in Massachusetts. And I put a few of the pictures I used to do back then were all black and white, and I usually did them at night, and so I'd have the camera with a flash on it. And I was more interested in photographing people in those days, and specifically the performers at the fair. I'm trying to find a few. I don't know if that. This lady's a trapeze artist. And then we got dancers over here. I'm not sure exactly what their job is. And this guy's a pretty interesting character. There's Bill Cole. He was from Rochester, New York. And he was in one of the sideshows. He was the half man, which is kind of weird because he's got his legs were, he was in a railroad accident and he lost his legs pretty high up on his hips. So he was working in one of the sideshows. The sideshows are interesting because they generally don't have them anymore. A lot of the sideshows have been replaced with more farm animal competitions. Because a lot of people didn't like the kind of activities that they'd have at the sideshows. The first carnival that I ever went to was in New Jersey. I think I was about 13 years old, and my friends and I, one night, they had this big carnival set up nearby where we lived in this field, which happened to be next to the Brothers of St. Michael's residence, and they rented the field out. They had this big fair carnival with rides, same kind of stuff you see here, but they had a lot of these weird sideshows. And my friends and I would sneak into stuff and without paying, and we'd usually get caught and thrown out. But there was this one that we snuck into, and it was the half man, half woman character. And it turns out, it's a hermaphrodite, some middle-aged guy up on a stage, and I don't remember too much about it, which is probably good. But that was our first experience with town fairs. But these are a lot more active and lots of fun. And when it does start to get to be nighttime, they turn the lights on, which is pretty obvious, but the colors increase in all the pictures because of the nighttime activity, but you get a mix of the light, so it changes the look of the pictures. The sugar babes on the opposite wall over there. That was shot at dusk, and I was leaving. We were going home, and they turned the lights on, and I said, wait a minute, we have to take pictures, because now it's really exciting with all the color. Okay, these pictures over here are taken of close-ups of the food trucks. And what I was kind of fascinated with this was all the stuff that's inside there, along with all the stuff that's reflected in the glass windows, which is all the stuff that's behind me. So it becomes this, I don't know what you call it, it's like a compilation of all kinds of colors and shapes, and there's a lot of stuff to look at, and that's why I like it, because it's not just one thing in the middle of an empty field. It's a lot of stuff. All the corners of the pictures have something to look at and have colors in them, and this was a discovery. I mean, I go to these things and I photograph, and I don't know what I'm doing. I go home afterwards and I look at the pictures and figure out if I did anything interesting. And then the next time I go, I try to look for those things to photograph, and that's where these came from. It's just kind of almost an accident, and then later on realizing it, and then the next one we went to, I spent a lot of time looking at these food truck windows and doing pictures like this. And so it's a little exploration of a particular situation that's local. I like photographing local stuff. I don't have enough money to fly around the world and take pictures, but there's plenty to look at just around where you live. I mean, look at all this great stuff every summer. In fact, right now, I think the Acton Fair started maybe yesterday, on Friday. So we're actually in fair season right now. So you should all get out and look at the Acton Fair and Bolton Fairs in August. I have a website. I have some of these pictures on the website in the Fairgrounds category. Some of them are a little different than what are up in the show, but generally it's this kind of thing. The website is DiTostiPhotos.com, DITOSTI, and you can see a lot of stuff on there. And I want to thank everybody for coming to the opening. And the gallery people were big help with putting the stuff up and helping to select the pictures, and it was, you know, really good experience for me, and hopefully for anybody who comes and looks at this stuff. Okay, well, thank you. My name is Roy DiTosti, and I live in Stow, Massachusetts.